there! Welcome to 9 Patchalong, Block 9. We made it! This is the very last block of this fun, simple stitch along. I really hope that each of you have been able to find some inspiration from these blocks and use them on real quilts. Even though I'm just stitching these out here throughout this stitch along on 9 patch blocks, really you could stitch these on any combination of blocks, whether they're single blocks or a whole entire patchwork quilt. You could continue any of these designs across a whole entire quilt and it would look awesome. So really, I hope that I'm just kind of inspiring you to use these designs wherever you would like. Today we're going to be using my mini 4-in-1 and my mini inside out machine quilting rulers. Now, before we finish up today, if you have not yet joined our Facebook community, Facebook group, please do. We would love to have you join and we'd love to have you share your progress. We do also, if you're just seeing this video for the first time today, make sure you check out the links below to learn all about this stitch along. We've got a few workbooks and a mug that you can pick up, purchase over on our website, peaceandquilt.com. But today, let's get stitching block number 9 with my mini inside out and my mini 4-in-1 machine quilting rulers. I'll start out this fun block design by using my blue Mark Be Gone marker and marking the center on all 4 sides of each of these 9 patch block designs. Now I'm ready to begin stitching. I'll start stitching at the bottom left marked point. From there, I'll stitch a point-to-point curve using the largest curve on the mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. So I'm stitching from the left down to the bottom. From there, I'll adjust my ruler and stitch up to the next marked point. From there, I'll adjust and stitch back to the bottom. I'll repeat that process, traveling all the way across that bottom row of blocks. After I've traveled all the way across, now I'm actually going to adjust and use my mini inside out machine quilting ruler and repeat that process. This time though, stitching from the top of that bottom row of blocks down to the center point and then back up to the top of the center of each of those blocks. So you could stitch this out using the mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. However, the more ruler work you do, you'll notice that there are definitely places where one ruler is more comfortable to use than another. Once I've stitched that out, now we're really going to dress this design up just a little bit. So this is actually a variation of one of the designs from my stitch along. Let's stitch a block a day, 365 quilt block designs using my machine quilting rulers. So this is a variation of block 237, the roundabout. So you'll see that I am going to quilt this slightly different, but it was definitely inspired by that block. Once I've stitched all the way back across, now I'm going to add my first set of echoes. Starting on the side of the block, I'll travel up 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to hold my machine quilting ruler so the large curved side lies right on top of my previous stitch line. Then from there, I'll stitch an echo, working up to the top center seam and then back down, repeating that process, traveling all the way across the 9 patch design. So once I've traveled all the way across, then I'm actually going to travel up and you'll notice that I will stop and stitch to the outside of that first echo. So the echo first, then the inside. So a little bit of a trick there as you come back across. But I will continue stitching those point-to-point curves, working my way back across, this time using the mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. Once I've completed that, now I am going to adjust and I'm going to continue the foundation of this design. I just got a little bit excited there at the bottom and wanted to see what the echo would look like, so I started out with that. However, I actually think this design is really pretty quilted out with just the foundation, with just these point-to-point curves. So you could stitch out this design with just the point-to-point curves and still have a gorgeous design on a 9 patch block. I'll continue by stitching those point-to-point curves across the top row of my block. All right, now we're going to start adding that echo to really dress this design up just a little bit more. Now, we are going to add in a little bit of stitch in the ditch work. Well, we'll stitch in the ditch on all of this, so that will actually be used as some of my traveling stitches. So on that top block, you'll see that I stitched that first echo, then I stitched back up my ditch, and I'm going to continue adding those echoes, working around that top side of the block. Once I've worked adding those echoes all the way across the top, then I'll travel down the side of the block again, stitching those echoes up to the center, adjusting and stitching back to the outside of the block. From that point, you'll see here that I am actually traveling up my previous stitch line. This took me a second to think about it, but it would be actually easier if you travel up the ditch on the side of the block to that first seam. From there, travel along the ditch over, and then start to add these echoes. So I want you to look at these and maybe think of them kind of as circles. You want to add an echo to the outside of each of these circles. The lines will cross over each other, and that's what creates some extra interest. So once I've stitched that echo ring around the outside of this, what we're calling a circle right now, then I'll continue on to the next one where I'll repeat that process, but I'll continue on by stitching along my ditch. So your ditch is a great place where you can travel when you need to. Once I've stitched that second echo around the second circle, then we'll continue traveling along that ditch all the way across the block. From there, I'll travel up the ditch across the side of the block. Then I'll adjust my ruler and stitch coming back into the block along the ditch. From there, I'll add those echoes around those first two, what we're calling circles, and using my ditch to travel across. Once I've completed that final echo, then I'll continue on and complete this design by finishing up the stitch in the ditch work. Now, I'll complete the rest of that block by stitching in the ditch on those two vertical lines. From there, you can spritz away those marked lines and you'll end up with a beautiful quilt block design. And that's block number 9. We'd love for you to share your progress on these 9 patch blocks in our Facebook group, but don't forget, we do also have some really fun companion workbooks available on our website, peaceandquilt.com. Have a great day, everybody.